Hello everyone, today we are looking at one of these. This is a Bosch Cartel SC. That's quite a mouthful. In essence, this is basically a Motorola rebadged TeleTAC, but it's got some MicroTAC features as well. This is what the box looks like. This is an original Bosch. Got quite a lot of different languages all over the box. You got German, French, English, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, more Spanish, Portuguese, and that would be it. But so these were presumably available widely in Europe at the time, although I don't think these are very common. You got a picture of the accessories you got in there with some funky labeling and stuff. So let's take a look inside. This is one that I found in storage whilst actually looking for something else. Now annoyingly I don't have the manual. This was actually my personal owned phone. I used this only for about, I think it was about 5-6 months, and then I moved and I couldn't get service where I was at the time. Because Vodafone back in the day was not great in terms of GSM. This is going back quite some time. And nowadays Vodafone is probably the best network in the UK. And I say that with confidence because I have O2, I have Orange, I have T-Mobile, and I have Vodafone. And I got all of them, and I just choose Vodafone. A, because they're good for their value money, and B, the service is great. But anyway, so this was my original Vodafone. Actually, it's got a SIM card. It'll be interesting to see if that's my SIM card. So you got a manual, obviously, which I don't happen to have. It's probably been separated from the box. You got the original Bosch battery, and of course this is just a sticky label. These are obviously the same as the Motorola ones. This is it doesn't actually say, oh yeah it does, it says this is nickel cadmium, so this is a real old school one. You got an IntelliCharge XT. These were the clever chargers. I say clever with inverted commas. They did do overnight ones as well, which looked exactly like this, but they just had overnight written there. And they obviously took a whole night to charge a battery. The IntelliCharge XTs were rapid chargers. They had a whole bunch of electronics inside, so pretty common. These are standard when it comes to the older MicroTACs. So you got one of them, and of course you got the big power pack that you got to power these. Now these do weigh quite a bit. This is of course a 3-pin because this is out of the UK. Now, I'm guessing, obviously, if the phone was provided in Europe, you'd get a 2-pin. This is an SPN 4038A, 12 volt, 10.8 amps, if that means anything to you. But that obviously plugs into here, and you're good to go. This obviously has got a proper transformer in it. None of that switch mode power supply, because this weighs quite a bit. So you got that. I'm going to put this away quickly, and we're going to fire the phone up. Not with the original battery, obviously. But with a good battery. Now, it'd be interesting to see if this is a Vodafone card. This is my original Vodafone card, believe it or not, people. This is obviously no longer in service. This has got to be, when did I have this? I must think now. This has got to be 94, I think. This is from 1994. And when I retired this phone, obviously I wrote the lock code. I changed the lock code and security code for my records. Not that it matters nowadays, because I can unlock these anyway, but hey ho. So but yeah, let's fire this up. I'm gonna put try and find a modern SIM card. This is a modern Vodafone SIM card. This is how they were back in the day. These are how they were. You didn't get the pop out because all the phones took credit size ones. Nowadays you get the standard size, you got the mini size, you got the nano and all that nonsense. You got standard, micro, nano. Back in the day, these are original ones. Incidentally, someone emailed me about a whole bunch of these. I replied to your email quite extensively, and I'm not sure you received the email, but because I didn't hear back from you, so I think it was someone in Germany. But so yeah, the original SIM cards, these are super rare nowadays. They did do ones in silver as well and gold. I got one of them as well. But anyway, let's fire this phone up and see what we can do with it. I'm hoping this works. That's always a good sign. Bosch GSM. This is GSM 900, obviously. Single band. And there we go. UK Vodafone. Now, this, I did say this was a TeleTAC. And if you checked out video I did about the British Telecom, I think CMH 300, I think it was last week or the week before. That TeleTAC was real basic. This actually is by comparison to a TeleTAC standards pretty advanced because you got a menu. Oh, someone's sending me text messages. Okay. So you got a menu obviously, and I got two new messages. It's just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. Clear that. You get the gobbledygook because this is probably one message that's stringed together, and these old phones don't accept really extended long SMS messages. They don't accept picture messages either. So this is probably just one message coming through, but it can obviously decipher the long frame messages, is what I call them. Okay, we're going to try and get another SIM card because this is just crazy. Never mind. I'm going to try and get an O2 SIM card. This one's probably good. Hopefully I won't get bombed with text messages. This should work because this is also a GSM 900 SIM card in the UK. Notice the flashing circle. There we go. Once that's gone, you can place and receive phone calls. When that's flashing, you know you're in a service area, but you can't place chargeable calls or receive chargeable calls. You can make emergency calls. But anyway, so this is UK Cellnet. In today's speak, that's O2. But this phone is so old that it still displays the old name. It used to be Cellnet, then it was BT Cellnet, and I think then they just changed it to UK Cellnet. So you got a menu, but you need to press the up arrow for menu because these buttons are dual function. So if you I don't know if you guys can see, but you got menu and you got an envelope. If you just press the envelope, you get the text messages that just came through. If you press up and then the menu button, you get the menu. So you navigate through by pressing left and right. So what do we got here? We got general, interface, call monitor, call restrictions, secure, which is your security codes and lock codes and stuff, options, self-explanatory really, and SMS. So let's quickly dive in. You hit select by pressing the M+. So you got status review, auto answer, select service, change provider list. Now, if you guys don't know, some of these old phones had provider lists built into them, and you could set your preferred networks, which was real useful for roaming. If you had a choice of more than one provider and one was ludicrously expensive and the other wasn't, you could tell the phone to default to a particular one. And this is where you change all that sort of stuff. So, but there's nothing really of interest here. So let's go interface, see what we got. Ringer. Ringer is always a good one. You got, what are the choices? On or off? You guys are spoiled for choice nowadays with your MP3 smartphone ringtones. These old phones, they didn't have any of that. You just got an on and off, and that was it. One setting. Keypad tones, notepad tones, long DTMF tones, pin obviously, switch on and off, and language selection, which just goes back to what I was saying about the box. This is obviously a European phone. Safety timer, that is presumably when you're on a call, that it tells you how long you've been on the phone. But of course nowadays everybody has unlimited minutes anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. But at the time, this function was state of the art. Call monitor, what have we got in here? 1 minute audible. So yeah, if you're on the phone every minute, this thing would beep to let you know that you've been on the phone for a minute. Actually, some of the clever phones do it at 50 seconds, so it gives you that 10-second gap, so you know that you're coming up to another minute. Real neat feature this, but again, in today's standards, useless, because I mean I've got unlimited calls on pretty much most of my SIM cards. Even actually some of the pay-as-you-go's have got so many minutes that you can't even use them. So repeat, so that this would be obviously your one-time repeat, one-time audible, so after a minute. And then if you wanted to do it every minute, this would be where you set that up. One-time audible. Auto monitor displays. In fact, let's enable that. Auto timer. So yeah, so now if you're on a call, that would obviously display the call time. Display call timer is always a good one. Individual, total reset, home reset, roam. So I did 338 minutes, I think. That can't be hours, surely. Nowadays, obviously, I use it a lot more. I use cell phones probably at least 2 to 3 hours every day. And that's commutative over the car phone and the cell phone and the micro TAC. I use cell phones quite a lot. Let's go back then, see what else we got. How do we get out of this? Okay, let's start again then. So menu, call monitor, call restrictions, kind of self-explanatory. These phones had call restrictions. Again, if you only wanted to limit the type of calls that you're able to place, this is where you would do it. Restrict incoming calls, restrict phone number length. So you could obviously do some clever programming to only allow certain phone numbers to be dialed out of this phone. Again, nowadays, useless function, because generally calls are just billed. You got a call to a fixed phone and you got a call to a mobile or a cell phone, costs the same amount of money. Back in the days when these old tariffs, they had the Metro call tariff on Vodafone. This is going back, very early 90s. But you had a Metro call and local call type, different rates for different kinds of calls. But this is all, legacy stuff, in terms of menu. So what else we got? We got access restriction, restrict incoming. We've done that already. We've done that. So secure, that's obviously change all your unlock codes, master reset, master clear, change security code. I don't need to do that because I know what it is. What else we got for options? Battery save, always a good one. And that's the only option you got. And then SMS. Auto cell broadcast. Now, cell broadcast, for you guys that don't know what that is, you got in the UK anyway, but this is generally in GSM 900 networks. You had a function where they broadcast messages. They broadcast messages back in the day. It could be anything. It could be traffic, it could be weather alerts, it could be a whole bunch of stuff. And you had to set the phone up to receive these by putting a channel in. I think in the UK it was 50. I'm not even sure. It might have been 52 or 54. But I don't think it's even in use anymore. I know Vodafone used it to display their dialing codes. And that was going back to the time when, obviously, if you're in a dialing code and you placed a call to the local dialing code, that would be a cheaper call than if you placed a call to, say, someone that's out of town or, 500 miles away or 200 miles away. That would be a different dialing code. And that call would be billed very differently. It'd be more expensive than your local calls. This feature kind of sort of tells you how old this phone is really, because I think Vodafone discontinued Metro call, must be mid-90s they discontinued that tariff. So alert tone, auto cell, we were back to square one basically. So you don't really get much in terms of options, but at least it's menu driven. If you guys haven't checked out the video last week or the week before about the BT phone, similar sort of size to this and shape, just in a teal green color. That phone doesn't have a single menu. This actually is menu driven, and this is quite intuitive if you kind of know what you're doing. So real neat phone this. I probably would carry this around just partly because it's thick and big and brash, and you want to turn a few heads. You rock up at a cafe one with ease, and you slam that on the table. People are going to know about it. You mean business. So, but anyway. Give me a thumbs up if you like the phone or the video. That's all really I can say about this particular one. Got the usual pull-out antenna. Slightly different cover here. If you guys know your Motorola's, this bit's a little different. I'm not too sure why. I guess it's just to differentiate the Bosch from a Motorola. But in essence, it is a Motorola, just rebadged up as Bosch, really. So, but give me a thumbs up if you like the phone or video. If you got any questions, drop them in the comment section as always. And I haven't forgotten the competition and the giveaway I'm going to do towards Christmas time anyway. Last year I gave away I think I gave away a Motorola Select 2000, brand new box. I gave away an MR601 round about November, December time. And obviously, a month or two ago, I gave out two Nokia 9300s. I still got two more to give away, so hang in there. I got to decide how I'm gonna give these away. Figure out a way to fairly do this, so that anybody can enter. Because I got a lot of viewership from younger people, and I don't want to have a complex question or something like that. I just want something that's simple, that anybody can just watch the videos and kind of work out whatever it is. I ain't worked out what I'm going to do yet, so hang in there, but hit that subscribe button if you guys want to be part of it. The giveaway and obviously the competition is only available to subscribers. That's kind of a given. If you're not subscribed, you're not going to be entered. So all right, so hit me with a thumbs up as always, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.